Now I want to go back to that collection that I was earlier working on, and it's actually under collections. It's right here, fall 2013. It's a collection that I created before starting the tutorial. So I'll just click back on that and then go back to these 10 pictures that we started the initial tutorial with. So having covered the modules and then the right panel, the left panel, right panel for information, left panel for organization, let's talk a bit about the film strip, the toolbar, and then the filter bar. Now, the film strip is basically this bottom strip which actually contains the individual images that reside in a collection, and you see them in consecutive order. Um, this toolbar is actually very interesting, and we use it a lot while we're working and organizing our pictures in Lightroom. So currently we are on grid view, which is where you see images in a grid. So the way to control that is basically by clicking on this icon. It says grid view when you hover over it. Remember that this whole section here is called the toolbar. If we wish to view something in a bigger view, we can click on loop view. So let's say I want to look at this image of Rome without seeing the other images in the grid. I just click on loop view on this little second icon, and then I'll be able to see this beautiful image of Rome alone. And if I want to go back to grid view, I just click back on this initial icon. The next thing is compare view, which is this X and Y icon. And we use this basically if we want to compare two images that look more or less alike and we want to perhaps get rid of the one that's less nice. So for example, let's say I select this image and holding down the Shift key, I'll click on the second image and I go to compare view, and I will actually be able to see the two images in a bigger view, and I'll be able to compare. Perhaps I like this one that has a better natural look of greens rather than this second one that has a color cast of blue over it, and we'll cover what color cast is in another tutorial. So this is the compare view. Now let me go back to grid view. The survey view is basically if we have many pictures taken of a single topic. So let's say we go outside one day and we take, I don't know, 15 pictures of one, of the same waterfall or of the same garden or whatever it is. So we select all these pictures, so let's say 7 pictures, and then we click on survey view and we can see them next to one another. Now, obviously these panels are somewhat of a distraction, the left and right panel. So what we can do is click on the tab key, which is what I'm doing now. I clicked on the tab key on my keyboard, and then it actually turned off my left and right panels, so I'm able to see my pictures better. Okay, now let's go back to survey view. I clicked back on the tab key and I'm going to go back to my grid view. This painter tool is a wonderful tool because it allows me to paint an image with a particular label or keyword and so forth. So let me show you an example. I'll go ahead and select the painter, and then when I hover over an image, it means that it's ready to paint something on that image. So for example, what do I want to paint on a particular image? Do I want to give it a label color? Do I want to give it a keyword? Let's say I want to give it a particular keyword. Where you see here it says label because that's what I was on earlier. I can select something else. So just click on that and then let's say select keywords. Okay, so let's enter a keyword, for example, nature, and hit enter. And I'm still on the painter tool, right? You see it's outside of this little circle, which means it's active and it's ready to paint that keyword on the image that of my choice. So let's say I hover over this elephant's image, and all I need to do is just click and notice what will happen now. So I'm going to click, and the minute I clicked, you can see that this little icon that has a sort of a pencil sign on the edge was added. It means that this picture now has the keyword nature added to it. Let me do the same thing with this picture of Malibu right here. So I'll hover over it and click once, and you will see that icon also added on the bottom right corner. I want to hover over this circle again to place my painter tool back where it belongs, so just click once. And then let's make sure that the keyword nature was indeed added to these pictures. So let me click on my picture and then go under keywords, which is right here. Okay, keywording, it's on the right panel. So if I open that tab and look under keyword tags, I can see that this image has a keyword nature, and so does this image. Okay, so that's basically what the painter tool does. But again, remember, it's not only to add keywords. You can add anything you want. You can paint a label on an image, you can paint a keyword on an image, a flag, and so forth. The next tools we will cover in the toolbar are the flags. As you can see, we have two flags here. The first one is white, the second one is black with an X on top. The first one is called flag as pick, which means if I like an image and I wish to flag it as picked, I will go ahead and click on this first icon. If I have a set of images and there are like 5 images among the whole set that I don't necessarily like, or something's wrong with them, or I'm not sure about them, I may want to look at them at a later stage, I can flag them as reject. So flag as pick, flag as reject. Now let me show you how this works. Again, it's very intuitive. Let's say that this image of Malibu here, I happen to like it, so I'm going to select it and go ahead and click on flag as pick. And when I do that, you will see the white flag appear on the top left corner of the image. Let's say I don't like this blue color cast on this particular lavender image that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and flag it as reject. And then you will see the rejected flag, the black flag with the X on top, appear on the image. Perhaps I also like a lot this image of Rome, so I'm going to select that and flag it as pick. Okay, basically what these flags are useful for, and then the stars, the label, colors, and so forth, they're basically useful for later on narrowing down our search, filtering our images. Perhaps one day you want to make a collection with all images that have a flag as pick. Maybe one day you want to make another collection with all images that have a flag reject because perhaps you want to delete them or something. So it's basically organizing our images properly. The stars are basically rating the image. So let's say this image of Rome I've already rated as 5 stars because it's such a beautiful image. If I show you in loop view, it's just perfect. Let's say this other image of this nice tree again in Malibu, which happens to have this greenish color cast, which I don't like. Let me go ahead and select that, and maybe I'll give this one just 1 star. So you do that just by clicking on the star, and it adds 1 star right here. If one day you change your mind and you happen to like it, you can just add more stars. Let's say if I click on this third dot, it will add 2 more stars for me, so the image will end up having 3 stars. This is another image that has 4 stars. Maybe I like it too much, I can give it a 5th star, and so forth. Another thing I can do is add a label color. So for example, if you look closely, these 4 images have this bluish greenish color cast. I want to select all 4 and give them this label of green. Oh, so here's a mistake, and I'm glad we came across it because it's something you need to avoid. What I did was I clicked on this first image and I held down the shift key and I clicked on this last image, and Lightroom selected all images in between for me. So the mistake was that I didn't actually want this nice image with the orange flowers and the one of the beach in Malibu within this selection. So to avoid this from happening, what you can do is, I'm actually hitting Command Z to go back in some steps. What you can do is just, instead of holding down the shift key, you can hold down the command key. So let me select this first image. I can hold down the shift key to select the one next to it. But now, since I want to skip these two images, I can just come here, and instead of holding down the shift key, I hold down the command key. So that way it skips this orange flowered image and the beach in Malibu. And now I'm still holding down the command key, and I will go ahead and select this fourth image. So this way I have the four images that have this bluish greenish color cast, and I will go ahead and give them a green label. Obviously, this green color doesn't affect the image itself, but I just have a label that is green on top of that image, so that later on, if I need to find the images with a green label or put them in a particular collection, I can do that by basically narrowing down using the green label. Now, if you happen to be overwhelmed by the number of tools that are in the toolbar, or on the contrary, you wish to see more tools, you just go ahead and click on this little icon right here. And that opens the drop down, which allows you to either remove some of the tools or add new ones. So, for example, if I want to add the thumbnail size, I just click check and then it shows, and if it's too much I can just go ahead and uncheck it and it's going to hide. So this is just so you know where to show or hide your tools in the toolbar. This little A to Z icon that you see here is basically sorting direction. So maybe I want to have the order of my images start with the elephant and then followed by the image of Rome and so forth. So I just click on the A to Z icon, if you will, sort direction, and then that changes the direction of images.